I'm Dan. He's Bo. Bo, the sun is out, the rain is away. How about we play some baseball here today?
What Ernie Banks say? Let's play two?
Let's play two.
Yes.
I would love one. I would love two even more. Bo, we're going to talk about everything that's going on ahead of game one, but the news of the day involves the guy who might potentially take the mound in game two. That's Max Scherzer after what happened here at Nationals Park yesterday. Max getting in some bunting work. Bob Henley tosses this one in. It goes off the bat and then off the face. A broken nose for Max Scherzer suffered on that bunt that went awry. Hit off the glasses, hit off his nose, a broken nose. He was bleeding on the field as he walked off. The Nationals saying that CAT scan on Max Scherzer was negative. So we left yesterday not knowing what the status was for Max Scherzer. We know today that Max Scherzer intends to pitch game two here today. This could add to the lore of Max Scherzer even more. He's yelled at his managers that he wants the ball when he's been on the mound, and he told his manager and his general manager yesterday that he wanted the ball here today at Nationals Park as scheduled. Bo, your thoughts on Max Scherzer intending, at least, to start here today for game two?
Well, one, I mean, obviously he wants to pitch. And you love the fact that he wants to pitch. But at the same time, sometimes you have to protect players from themselves. When I look at what happened, I'm no doctor. And I may be the only person in this ballpark that do not want Max Scherzer to pitch. And my reasoning is very simple. I think that it's very risky. When you look at what happened to Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals, Lord forbid something happens to Max Scherzer from a standpoint. Baseball is a reaction sport. And when you think about a broken nose, you can have trouble breathing. Your equilibrium can be off. You can get into the batter's box, and now you're trying to bunt a 94, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. There is no telling what can happen throughout the course of this game. For me, the effect and the timing of really realizing what his recovery is going to be, it's just not there for me. And when I look at the way this series has played out, basically Mother Nature basically saved us from a standpoint. He don't have to pitch the second game today. He was not scheduled to pitch to the third game of this series. You have Fetty. He's lined up. You can actually push Max back to Saturday.
Yeah.
It's still a division game against, by the way, the Atlanta Braves, which is in first place in our division. So for me, it's risky if they do it. And I'm not one. Max Scherzer can go out and throw a no-hitter, and my opinion would not change.
It'd be the same.
Because it would be the same. It's more based on the health risk and the fact that we are playing a reactionary sport where the ball moves 95+ miles per hour.
Bo, the fact of the matter is that your opinion is valid and it's taken, but Max Scherzer does intend to start today, so let's talk about him if he does take the mound today, as he planned to yesterday. What do you expect from him in terms of what he might be able to deliver on the mound?
Well, because Max Scherzer is a special talent, okay, we all know that. He's a future Hall of Famer, okay? He's going to have extra adrenaline going because when you look at this, it's made for TV. It's made for cinema. This will be something that will go down in the record books as far as Max Scherzer towing the rubber after breaking his nose, yesterday. So I understand the media lore of it. I understand the made-for-TV drama that it brings to the table. It does not change my opinion on how I feel about the decision of him taking the mound. And I'll go back to what I said at the top of this. Sometimes as a coach, a manager, a leader, you have to protect your players from themselves.
I'll say this, though, and again, your point is valid and it's taken. Gutsiest physical performance by a Nationals pitcher if he does take the mound today. We heard about Jordan Zimmerman when he was at Wisconsin Stevens Point, broke his jaw, pitched with his jaw wired shut. That was before he pitched in a Nationals uniform. If Max does take the mound today with a broken nose, in my mind, must-watch stuff. Here's Davey Martinez on how things have played out over the last, 18 hours or so with Max Scherzer and the plans for him today.
He came in last night, we talked. Amongst other things, but he said, I'm pitching, so expect me to pitch tomorrow. I said, all right. It all depends on the swelling. He had a black eye. So if he wakes up and he's got swelling or he can't breathe, I mean, when you're out there pitching, you got to breathe. So that's our big concern right now. Yeah, he's got his right eye. We thought both eyes would be black and blue, but yeah, it's got a little shiner.
So a blue eye, a brown eye, and a black eye for Max Scherzer. Here's our long fence starting pitching matchup today. Touch all the bases and score big For great savings, visit longfence.com. So Patrick Corbin and Zach Eflin in Game 1. Again, the Phillies flipping their starting pitchers in this doubleheader. Arrieta was scheduled to get the ball in the first game of this series. He will go tonight, assuming there are 2 baseball games to be played. And Max Scherzer, again, scheduled to take the ball in Game 2. He wasn't awake by the time that Davey Martinez spoke to reporters earlier on today. So Davey said we'll hear from him after he calls Paul Lessard, the team athletic trainer, and we'll go from there. Bo, there's another factor to all of this, and that's what happens with Max Scherzer in the batter's box once he returns from this broken nose, be it today, be it tomorrow, or whenever it is. Trey Turner broke his finger when trying to bunt a ball. We've seen him square around to bunt only 1 time since then, and this is a guy that bunting is a big part of his game. Pitchers are going to have to bunt in the National League. And so how do you think this might affect Max when it comes to him being in the batter's box?
I think that's another factor. Obviously, that's why we're talking about it here. When you think about getting in the batter's box and bunting, one of the things you do from a coaching standpoint is you teach your batters to put their nose on the ball. Well, this guy broke his nose yesterday. So that's not something that you want him to really stick his nose in there because of the fact that, again, the ball is traveling at up, 94, 95 miles an hour. You're also thinking about the fact that, obviously, because this was a head injury, it could affect his vision, his ability to actually see the ball, which also can affect his ability to get out of the way of the baseball. Again, I may sound like a broken record. It's way too risky for me to put my franchise pitcher into the batter's box after breaking his nose less than 24 hours ago.